Do you want to hear my views on speed bumps? Well, stay tuned and I'll explain them all in this video. Hi, my name's Andy and this is the Q4 channel, and once again I'm talking from the shed. So, speed bumps. But before I get started, if you haven't already subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the bell icon, that way you won't miss out on future content. And if you like, leave a comment. So, speed bumps. Annoying. They're called traffic calming measures. But let's be honest, if you're behind somebody who approaches a speed bump like it's the north face of the Eiger, slows down to 10 miles an hour to creep over it, and you're behind them, just how calm do you feel? Because I know I don't. If anything, I feel extremely frustrated. Now, in my opinion, there are two types of people when it comes to speed bumps. The first kind is like me. They approach a speed bump, they go, speed bump, boom, and just go over it. You see, a speed bump's designed not to harm your vehicle. It's designed to keep you to the speed limit, hence the name speed bump, you see? So why is it some people approach as though it's an expedition to Everest? Well, I think it's because they don't understand how they work. You see, speed bumps are actually built to represent the speed they're trying to keep you at. So for instance, if it's a 30 mile an hour, the speed bump has a certain rake, a certain height to represent 30 miles an hour is the maximum you can hit this speed bump without it affecting your vehicle. If it's a 20 mile an hour zone, say outside of school such like, the rake will be steeper, the bump will be a bit higher, but still you can hit it at 20 miles an hour and it won't have any detrimental effect on your vehicle. They are designed for the speed that they are laid at. Now, sometimes a mistake is made, especially with the tarmac ones that are laid down by councils, because they have to guesstimate the rake and height. And also, if then another service industry comes along like water or electric and they dig up that speed bump, they're not really caring that they're putting it back as it was before. They do the best job they can at the time, but usually it will affect the speed bump. But it still shouldn't affect your vehicle. And like I said, there are two types of people who approach these. The second type, I honestly do think they're on an expedition. You're following along behind them, they see a speed bump, and all of a sudden the brake lights come on. And you go, oh, come on, it's a speed bump. I think inside, these people, who are usually of a certain vintage, are looking at each other and it's, this is the big one, Doris. I know, Frank. Have you put the crampons on the car? And have you got your oxygen? I'm gonna go for it, love. Bump. To the next one then. On come the brake lines and the same conversation. Oh, I thought it was just the one, Doris. I know, Frank. It looks like this is the whole of the Himalayas. I mean, come on. You're in a modern car. What do you think is going to happen if you hit that speed bump at slightly more than the 10 miles an hour you're doing? If it's a 30 mile an hour, and let's be honest, we get the nighttime speed bump fairies come out and bolt these things down willy-nilly. You wake up one morning, you go down a road that's never had a speed bump, all of a sudden, they've sprung up like mushrooms. What the heck's going on? Stop it! But those speed bumps are usually just wide enough if you get it between the two of your wheels that it really has no effect at all. It's not slowing anybody down. Now, certain cars can't handle these speed bumps and they come in two categories as well. Number one, the boy racer who's got his street drag car that he's lowered and stiffened the suspension and such like, and he's got the front air splitter that is literally 2 inches off the floor, and that scrapes every time he goes over a speed bump. Well, I say to that person, tough, You made your car like that. You modified it to be inappropriate for the streets now. And the second part is the hypercar, because most supercars will handle speed bumps fine because they're built to be driven on normal roads, and on normal roads, unfortunately, we do have speed bumps. No, the hypercar again can be like 2 or 3 inches off the ground, but some of them have a button that when you press, it actually raises it to about 6 inches off the ground, so therefore will handle speed bumps again. So those are only really the two exceptions that you'll have in cars that really can't handle speed bumps very well. I will accept 2 excuses for driving slowly over speed bumps, and I mean really slowly over speed bumps. Number 1, you have a massive painful case of hemorrhoids and are sat in your car on an inflatable donut, and even the smallest of bumps is really painful. I will accept that you will slow down to a ridiculous 10 miles an hour or below to get over these speed bumps, because I could imagine that's quite painful. Nobody likes something like that. The second excuse I will accept is that you have a terrible back pain. Again, a medical condition, therefore I think to myself, you know there are speed bumps, why did you come this way? Couldn't you have gone a different way that might have been a little bit longer but was speed bump free? That would have made sense, and then your back or your hemorrhoids would have been safe. But those really are the only 2 exceptions I will accept for such abysmal behaviour when it comes to speed bumps. The second part I want to mention here is you're in a modern car. And what I mean by that is you're no longer in the 18th century and you're not in charge of a wooden carriage with wooden wheels on a wooden axle. Going over that bump would be very jarring in that vehicle. But no, you're in a modern vehicle. And guess what modern vehicles have? Well, let's start with the basics. They have rubber tyres that are inflated with air, and they absorb some of the bump. Wow! Who'd have thought up such a crazy idea? It's amazing. Science is wonderful. Oh, this is brilliant. But no, that's not all you've got in your modern car. You also have a suspension. That's made with springs that, guess what springs do? They absorb the bump. This couldn't get any better. Not only have you got the inflated rubber tyres that take up bumps, but you've also got a big spring. Now it could be a leaf spring or it could be a coil spring, but either way, it takes up a bump. Wow! But no, I'm not finished. There's more. Yes, you have a shock absorber. And guess what a shock absorber does? Did you get it? It absorbs shock. Wow! So those 3 things alone, well, it must be amazing. You can go over a bump, it absorbs the shock, it's got a spring, an inflated rubber tyre. You'd think these cars were built for our roads, wouldn't you? But no, I'm not finished. Because inside the car, you will be sat on a cloth sponge seat. I know! So that's more absorption of the bump. Did you get the sarcasm? The sarcasm is, you are not in the 18th century. You're not driving a wooden carriage. You're no longer there going, come on, cleaners, let's get these goods to market. No, that's not happening. You're in a modern car that has been built for our modern roads, including speed bumps. Drive normally. Drive to the speed. You don't need to slow down to a crawl to attack these speed bumps. You're not Doris and Frank attacking the north face of the Eiger. You're not in the Himalayas. This is a speed bump. It's small, it's down, it's got the right rake for the right speed and for the right conditions. you should be able to go over it if it's in a 30 zone at 30 miles an hour without cracking your head on the ceiling of your car. You should be able to drive over it at 30 miles an hour with little more than a... That's it. And like I said, unless you've got a massive case of bum grapes, or you've got such a badly aligned spine that standing is painful, well really you shouldn't have come that way. So stop holding everybody else up, because this traffic calming measure with you driving like a plank is not very calming for everybody behind you, who knows that as soon as you get the other side of that speed bump, you're going to accelerate beyond 30 until you get to the next speed bump, and then you're going to slam your anchors on. Here's another thing as well. This is costing you money doing that. And what I mean is accelerating and braking between speed bumps is very fuel inefficient. You are using more fuel by driving in that manner. And also, you are going to wear out your brakes a lot quicker because you're accelerating and braking far more than you need to if you kept a constant steady speed whilst going over these speed bumps. So stop it. You'll be in a spanner. Don't be a spanner. Stop being a spanner. Drive normally. Don't brake and creep over them like you're attacking Snowden. You're not. You're in a modern car that has all of the advantages of a modern car to absorb bumps. And that's all it is, a bump. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm no fan of speed bumps. And I'm not alone. The fire, ambulance and police services are none of them fans of speed bumps. Councils put them down because somebody will complain to them and go, "Oh, they're driving like lunatics outside my house down this street at night. Oh, it's like Brands Hatch. I'm telling you, it's like Brands Hatch down here." So the council, to placate the small petition that they achieve, they send out the speed bump fairies at night who drop down these ready-built hard rubber speed bumps, and they bolt them to the road, and you wake up in the morning and go, "What happened here? Yesterday this was beautiful smooth tarmac. Now it's like the backside of Quasimodo with the humps on it." No, I'm no fan of speed bumps, but I can understand why they've been put there. But it doesn't mean I have to like them. But worse than that, I dislike the people who attack speed bumps at 10 miles an hour as though all of a sudden they've come to an unfamiliar... I think they must have stopped, looked at their map and went, "Oh, it says here, there be dragons. Well, that must be the back of the dragon. We'll have to drive slowly because we don't want to wake the dragon." I mean, come on. It's just a bump in the road. Your car can handle a bump. You can handle a bump. So, handle a bump. Stop driving like a plank. So, that's my little rant on speed bumps. Tell me what you think about speed bumps in the comments below. Also, tell me, as a traffic calming method, how calm are you when you're behind somebody who, like I said, brakes to such a ridiculously low speed before attacking this speed bump? Tell me, are you calm? Leave that in the comments down below. Don't forget to give this video a like, big thumbs up for would you? Also, don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to hit the bell icon. Now, let's have a little bit of humour. There's 3 Americans and they've been out all day drinking and they're absolutely paralytic, and for some reason they've found themselves at the top of a skyscraper in New York, and they're sat there swaying around and they're talking in a drunken manner, and then the middle one says, "Hey, watch this, just watch this," and he gets up, jumps off at the side of the skyscraper, and the other 2 go, "No," and look over, and they see him sailing down. But about halfway down, he just floats 3 times around the skyscraper and then gently floats back up and lands on the roof. And the other 2 are like, "Oh my God, how the hell did you do that?" He says, "I'm telling you, when you've had as much to drink as I have, you can do anything you like." And the one on the right says, "Wow, I've met you drink for drink. I'm as drunk as you are, and if you can do it, so can I." And he steps off the edge of the building before the other 2 can stop him, and he just sails down and goes splat on the floor. And the other 2 are laughing their heads off. And the one on the right turns to the middle one and says, "You know what? You're a real git when you're drunk, Superman." He was the Man of Steel. Anyway, as always, you people out there, be happy, be healthy, but above all else, take care of yourself. Because if you don't, who will? Goodbye now.